In this lesson, we're going to be going over loans. So loans are something that you get from a bank or a credit union. Most commonly, they will be for things like a car, or they might be for things like tuition. Sometimes you can also just get a personal loan for things around your house or renovations, things like that. Now, loans will calculate your interest daily, but most commonly, you will pay monthly. So usually with a loan, you will pay every month a set amount of money, and a loan is usually locked in for a set term. So you might have a loan for 5 years where you're given a chunk of money and you have a certain amount of time to pay it back by paying regularly every month. Now, sometimes you will have to get a secured loan. A secured loan is something that requires collateral. So it's something that the bank or the lender can take if the person does not pay back the loan. So it could be something like your car or your house. They use it as collateral that if you do not pay back your amount that you've borrowed, they can take that from you. So a few different kinds of loans. We've got personal loans, which can be secured or unsecured. And these loans don't have restrictions on them. Obviously, it's going to be at the bank's discretion as to whether you are approved for a loan and what that loan might be used for. The interest rates on loans are usually higher. Secured loans, it might be a little bit lower. There's often also loans that you can get called payday loans or fast cash loans. So those you might be familiar with. You see places where you can go in and they offer payday loans. In that case, these loans are very high interest. They're basically for more like emergency situations. You really need some money before your paycheck goes through. You also have things like student loans and car loans. These are very, very common types of loans. Student loans have to be used for tuition or things related to your education. Car loans obviously are used towards your car. Now, sometimes they have special features. So for example, with a car loan, usually the maximum length of time they would give you is about 7 years to pay it back. And that's just because cars will diminish in value quite a lot in the first few years. And they want to make sure it's paid off before the car loses the majority of its value. So they're different than credit cards in that the amount borrowed is fixed from the beginning. So when you have a loan, you're given a set amount of money at the beginning and you have a set amount of time to pay it back with regular payments. The interest rate on a loan can be fixed or variable, meaning it can fluctuate. So you can either have a loan where the interest rate may fluctuate higher or lower, or you can have a loan where you're given an interest rate right at the beginning and that interest rate stays fixed throughout the entire term. Loans also have a fixed term, so they will set aside right at the beginning a set amount of time that you have to pay it back. So this is the chart we're going to use to determine the interest rates. So you can see here that depending on how much money is borrowed and depending on how long the loan is for, these are the interest rates that will be offered. So this is the money, you use this table. This money here is the amount that's borrowed at the beginning of the term, and then you can find your interest rate accordingly. On the next page, you've got a table here. This helps you calculate your loan payment. So as I mentioned, your loan payment is going to be paid back in regular installments, and this table shows you that based on your interest rate and the number of years in the term, you're going to pay a certain amount per $1,000 borrowed. So for example, if you have 6% interest rate and your loan is for 2 years, for every $1,000 you borrow, you're going to pay $44.33 per month. So we can use all the values in these tables to calculate our monthly payment for these loans. At the bottom here, shows you how to do that. So to determine a monthly payment, you're going to take the loan amount and you're going to divide it by 1,000 because all these values are per $1,000 saved or borrowed, and you're going to multiply that by the monthly payment per 1,000 from the table. So let's try an example here. Ryan wants to buy a 60-inch TV for $3,000 plus taxes. He doesn't have the money right now, so decides to take out a personal fixed rate loan. How much will he pay per month if he takes out a loan for 2 years? So the first thing that you would want to do is, you'll see up here, it's $3,000 plus tax. So let's calculate what this cost is with tax. And remember, to do that, we can multiply by 1.12. That will give you the total, including taxes. So $3,000 times 1.12. That means this TV is going to cost him $3,360. So that's how much he's going to have to borrow. Now, it says it's a fixed rate loan. If we go back, we need to determine what the interest rate is. So we're going to go back to this table here. It's for less than $5,000. And the loan is the term. He wants to do 2 years. So for 2 years, less than $5,000 is 12.75%. So that's the rate, the interest rate. $12.75%. And we also need to, if we're calculating the monthly payment, we need to then use this rate and our table. So this is a 2-year loan at 12.75%. So the amount per thousand is going to be $47.42. So for 2 years, 12.75%, $47.42. So over here, to calculate the monthly payment, we're going to do the amount that he's borrowing, including taxes, divide it by 1,000, and multiply by the value from our table. So his monthly payment would be $159.33 every month for 2 years. The next question asks, how much interest will he pay? So we know that the TV is worth this much, $3,360, but he's going to be paying interest on this. So he's going to be paying $159.33 every month, so 12 times in a year for 2 years. So all together, he will end up paying $3,823.92. Now the amount that he borrowed is only this. So to figure out the interest, we're just going to subtract. So $3,823.92 minus the amount that he borrowed. $463.92. So that's the amount of interest that he will pay. If we look at example 2, very similar. Chantel wants to buy a new set of living room furniture. She takes out a personal loan, fixed rate loan, for $6,600 plus taxes to be paid over the next 3 years. So first thing we need to do before we do anything else is calculate this cost with taxes. So with taxes, that means she needs to borrow $7,392. Now we want to calculate the amount per month. First, we need to find the interest rate. So if we go over here, she's borrowing $7,000. So here, that means it's between $5,000 and $15,000, and she's borrowing it for 3 years, so 10.25%. is going to be her interest rate. So if I go over to my table, we've got a 3-year loan at 10.25%. So the amount per month is going to be $32.38 per thousand. So I take the amount she's borrowing, so the monthly payment, the amount she's borrowing divided by 1,000 and times, bad memory, 10, 25, 32, 38. So $239.35. That's going to be her monthly payment. And again, it's asking how much interest will she pay. So she's going to pay this amount every month for 3 years. So $239.35 every month for 3 years. Is $8,616.60. But this furniture only cost her this much, so we will just subtract. So she's going to pay $1,224.60 in interest altogether. So that's how you calculate loan payments and interest on loans.